We've seen this before. 13th camp with Andy Reid as the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. A strong push, bit of a back-off day. Push in pads, same sequence about 3 different times during training camp here in St. Joseph. This Defending the Kingdom is entitled The First Push, and it's brought to you by not only Ticketmaster, but by the awesome folks at Mosaic. They are the official training camp partner of the Kansas City Chiefs here in St. Joseph and the official health care provider of the Kansas City Chiefs. Great in the 4-state area that Mosaic serves, and they're part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network.
Holthus keeps it on an RPO at the 5, gets a lead block, he goes into the end zone near side, touchdown, Kansas City!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the campus here at Missouri Western State University. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, along with senior team reporter Matt McMullen. The first push, and man, oh man, is it a push. We're going to start by giving you an injury update. We just did a live stream not long ago. In the span of just several minutes, the injury list grew to double digits.
Yeah.
And so we're going to jump into that. But the big push is this. Heat, humidity, 3rd straight day in pads. We've seen Coach do it before. He stays within the rules of the NFLPA and the collective bargaining agreement. He does not violate those rules, but he does take them to the max. If you like your Chiefs team winning in September and you like your Chiefs team winning in December and winning in January and maybe in February 3 times, then know that the start of that is here in a day like today. This was a tough day.
Yeah, this was day 7 of camp, but the 3rd day in a row of pads. And today, really, the ramp-up completed. So this was a 2-hour and 25-minute practice. This was the longest practice of training camp so far. Really, everything during the off-season training program was about building toward today. And, of course, it was 85 degrees, 80% humidity all morning long. Not a cloud in the sky. I mean, it was brutal out here. And I'll run through the injuries. It's one of those things where you might see this online. I wouldn't worry too much about it because, I mean, these are soft tissue things. This is it being really hot. But Christian Fulton still has a knee injury. Darius Rush missed a 2nd day in a row with a hamstring. Eric Scott wasn't out here with a hamstring injury. Deion Bush, hamstring injury. Jeffrey Bassa, ankle injury. And Jake Brenningstool with a hamstring injury did not practice. And then Hollywood Brown left with an ankle injury. Xavier Worthy banged his head and left early. Rookie linebacker Cooper McDonald left with an illness. And then Sky Moore left with a hamstring. So a lot of injuries today, but that's kind of what happens during this time of year where you're pushing, trying to get fully enamored into football shape. And the reality is you might get a little banged up along the way.
You were around baseball. You were with the Arizona Diamondbacks. We talked about the Kaiser Volcanoes.
Yeah.
Did you ever, I mean, it's a rule, you don't talk about a no-hitter because you go in the 8th inning. I don't think we give up a hit yet. And then it's a
home run.
Yeah, home run and then a crooked number. Blame me. Right before practice, Austin Woodard, who was here, I go, you know what, we have, because I'm looking at every camp every day, I go, we have not had the soft tissue injuries other teams are having.
Yeah, today we did. Today we did. And again, here's the important thing is I don't think any of these are serious major things. It's just it happens. I mean, again, 3rd day in pads in a row. Keep in mind, the guys had not been in pads all off season since the Super Bowl ended until 3 days ago. And then they did it 3 days in a row with increasingly longer practices and, of course, a brutally hot day today. So it's going to happen, but the reality is it's what makes this team better in the long run. Coach Reid didn't take it easy on them today. I mean, they did 9-on-7 run drills. They did 1-on-1 pass protection drills. They did a long drive drill period at the very end as if everything else wasn't enough. But that's why Coach Reid is the greatest. He knows how to get the absolute best out of everybody. And I am certain that in November or December, after a tough win, Mahomes, Kelsey, or Worthy or somebody will say, honestly, it's those days in St. Joe where it's 1,000,000 degrees and we're doing long drive drill in our 3rd hour of practice that got us ready for this.
And in essence, the special category was like a 2nd long drive drill.
Yeah.
In fact, I saw Patrick just moments ago, and I go, 2 long drive drills? And he's pouring water on his head. And yeah. That's all he said. Now,
that's all he needs to say.
You've heard us talk about this, but the first year, 2nd year of coach, he asked me, you ever heard of the Farklick method of training? It's like an 18th century military training that our allies use it. Some of our military uses it. But it's a very – you can look it up, okay? Go to a web browser and find it. Today, just a minute ago, I go, far click method. He just growled at me and goes, yeah, and just growled away. Like, nobody's in a good mood here. That's part of this. But this was a grind. This is the first big push. This isn't the last, but it's the first big one. And you're going, well, wait a minute. Upper 80s isn't that. But when you take heat and humidity together and you push it, and so it's all these guys want. I just saw Kelsey. He's trying to, like, get his breath. Every one of these guys are feeling this. And so – but it's by design and trying to build a team mentally, physically, and emotionally tough.
And here's the exciting news. We have some 70-degree days on the horizon. Later this week, it's going to be like 70 degrees because a cool front and some rain are going to come through. So it's going to make the guys better.
Yep.
The good thing is, despite how difficult it was and some of the injuries, we didn't see guys dogging it during practice. Like, we saw some really big plays, some good work getting in there today. And we can run through some guys at some point that have been standing out to us. But Coach Reed talked about this a few days ago because obviously we all knew this kind of thing was going to happen. He was like, I want to see the players, how they respond to days like this. When you know you have an hour left in a third padded day in a row, how do you respond? And he was joking around that some of the guys are going to start kind of talking to themselves, you know, trying to force their way through it. But particularly for players that are fighting for roster spots on this team, like those depth guys, like who's going to be your 6th or 7th receiver, who's going to be your 4th running back, stuff like that. Who are the guys that impressed on days like this, who didn't hang their head and say, oh, man, it's too hot. Like, I don't want to be out here. I never did this in college, or I didn't do this at the previous spot I was in the NFL. Well, there's a reason the Chiefs are so successful. And it's not fun, but one of the reasons that we're going to all these Super Bowls is days like this.
No question. Now, it's been hot for us too. That's okay. It does not stop us from going around the world.
Now, we're glistening in the sun. We're still going to go around the world. Okay, so I have this on a piece of white paper that's like reflecting back at me. Let's see if I can read this. This is also my handwriting. Okay, heard from Blake in Wellington, Colorado, just north of Fort Collins.
Okay.
Before that, he lived in Victoria, Kansas, outside of Hayes.
The Knights.
The Knights.
The Knights.
Okay.
Victoria Knights.
All right, I love it.
Great tradition. Remember Monty Beisel?
Yeah,
played
sure.
for the Chiefs?
Uh-huh.
Victorian Knight.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, small world. So obviously Hayes is kind of Broncos country as it is, but Wellington, Colorado certainly is. He's going to the game in Denver.
We're winning our share in Hayes, though.
We are.
It used to be like every other street. No, it's contrived and working. We've got about 3-1 right now in Hayes. Sorry.
When I was a kid, we were doing like a trip out west, and we drove through Hayes, and there was a big billboard, big orange billboard that said, "This is Broncos country," and it made me so mad. Yeah. I still think about it to this day. That was like 20 years ago. Anyway, he'll be at
you ain't seen it today.
He'll be at the game in Denver later this year, and we'll probably be repping the Kingdom. So good for you, Blake. I met Francis at the zoo not too long ago. So those that listen often know my wife works at the zoo. And they had an event a few weeks ago called Christmas in July. I was texting you about this. It rained the entire time. But, you know, when you go to a place like the zoo, it's kind of like when you go to a Chiefs game. It doesn't matter what the weather is. You are going to have fun. So we were at the zoo. Lots of people were there, and it was pouring rain, and everyone was still having fun hanging out at the zoo. And I met Francis there. So shout out to you, Francis. We got a listener in Tyler, Texas.
Yep.
Thank you, Tyler, Texas. We appreciate you.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes, thank you.
Trish is in Sydney, Australia, down under. Want to go to Sydney. We have a listener in Derby, Kansas.
Panthers.
Okay, Derby Panthers.
They've had tons of players come out of there, NFL players. They got Leon Edwards now, one of the top running backs in the country. That's a great program. Okay.
And lastly, this is a cool one. So, you know, usually I just look at the YouTube comments or people email me or tweet at me or something to get the Around the Worlds. I heard from Neil via LinkedIn. And I should check my LinkedIn more often, but this is one that you'll like a lot.
Did he want to hire you?
Well, so Neil, I couldn't do this, trust me. Neil is in Maryland. He works at the Marine Corps Cyberspace Command.
Love that.
Yeah, and listens to DTK. So, Neil, first of all, thank you for all you do for our country, but also thank you for listening to DTK and for repping the Chiefs out in Maryland.
Semper Fi, Neil. Semper Fi. I got a couple.
Yep.
All right. At camp, it's always interesting, these people that come up, right? We just had a guy from Virginia Beach, Virginia walk up, and I always ask where they're from. Mm-hmm. But Abby, she's a middle schooler from St. Simon's Island.
St. Simon's Island?
Yeah, so it's kind of in the Charleston, Savannah, and the Atlantic coast.
Oh, she had your heart right away.
Oh, right away.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and we were just there. It was awesome. But she's from St. Simon's Island, and her dad and brother are Steelers fans, but her and her mom are huge Chiefs Kingdom fans. They defend the Kingdom.
Do it.
Even offshore on the Atlantic seaboard. So a shout out to Abby. a sixth grader, I believe, St. Simon's Island. Here's another one. This is a fun one. You'll like this. Dublin, Ireland. You've been there.
Love Dublin. Yeah.
Dublin, there is you know how Big Charlie's in Philly, South Philly's, the Chiefs like hang out? There is one in Dublin, Ireland. And I want to get this right. It's called The Bridge.
Wish I knew this when I was there.
I should have told you.
Yeah.
The Bridge. It's right by the American Embassy.
Okay.
The dude that runs it is named Tony McCabe. It is the biggest Chiefs Kingdom hangout on the Isles. And it's just a place where they all congregate and go crazy. And it's a Chiefs stronghold. So a shout out to Tony. Now, here's why this is big. We have a lot of Chiefs Kingdom fans that are Iowa State fans. We know we got a lot of Chiefs Kingdom fans that are K-State fans. The Week 0 game in Dublin, Ireland is K-State against Iowa State.
Oh, man.
All of you fans need to know there is a Chiefs Kingdom hangout in Dublin, Ireland. Now, what's interesting, Tony, get ready, because the way that the Iowegians and the K-Staters drink beer, they might clean him out. Now, it's
in Ireland of all places, so I think they'll be prepared, right?
It's Guinness, so they're going to be like laid out, like they when you make the game.
Yeah.
But it's called The Bridge, and it's one of the greatest Chiefs hangouts outside the States, and it's right there in Dublin, Ireland. So when you, Ellie, go back, you got to go see this guy.
Okay.
Tony. So anyway, around the world.
And also, we saw Chris up here just now.
Yeah.
So Chris had written into DTK a couple of years ago, I think. I can't remember when it was, but a while ago. Originally from, you caught this, where is he?
Tonganoxie.
From Tonganoxie.
He's a chieftain.
Moved to Poland for a while. I was in Poland and having to watch all these Chiefs primetime games in the middle of the night. But he just moved back to this area. He had mentioned, I think I talked about on DTK, that he told me via YouTube he was going to be moving back here, and he shouted me out and said, "Hey, I'm back." So now he's in the Kansas City area and was at practice here today. So shout out to you, Chris. Glad
he
you're
said
back
Monday 2 a.m. games are rough.
I can imagine.
In Poland.
Yeah.
It's also home of the Wrocław Panthers, right? We covered those guys. But who's impressed you in camp so far? Your thoughts? And again, a grueling day today. This is the first big push, the third day of in pads and high heat and high humidity. It's been rough. Those guys are hurting right now and trying to get recovery. Tomorrow will be an easier day. But who's impressed you so far?
Should we go like back and forth, or should I list off some guys?
Let's go back and forth.
Let's go back and forth. Okay. Well, I'll go with the obvious one. Josh Simmons has looked the part so far. That's the question I think we all had going into this camp. Could Josh Simmons, A, be ready for camp with his injury rehab? And once he put the pads on, how could he handle himself? And the first question was answered immediately. He hasn't missed any practice. He's been out here as a full go. So during the draft process, you and I kind of wondered about that. Like, would this be a redshirt year for him? No, not at all. It wasn't even a redshirt camp for him. Didn't begin on PUP or anything. He's been completely healthy, ready to go. The second part of it is he has looked the part in pads. He's been physical and strong. Obviously, plenty to work on, but I think through 3 padded practices, Josh Simmons is off to an awesome start.
Excellent point. He threw Ashton Gelati yesterday like a rag doll.
And Ashton Gelati's pretty good.
Yes, he is. OLDL. And today got it mixed into it with Mike Danis. So we're seeing a little bit of an edge to him, which isn't bad.
No, it's good.
Mine, so to start, is Leo Chanel on the defensive side. Oh, my gosh. He's my defensive MVP of this camp. And I saw it this spring, saw it in mini camp. Is he going to continue on? Yes. The Chiefs have got to find ways to get Leo Chanel on the field. He sets the edge. He's a really good pass rusher, and he's great in coverage. We saw a very athletic interception yesterday. But here's something that I don't think I've ever seen, or I've very rarely seen. We talk about OLDL, and that's what you want to watch at camp, the one-on-ones. Leo was in there as a D lineman, inside, outside, going against the offensive line, one-on-one. It's wrestling, basically. He goes, runs over, and does 7-on-7 as a coverage guy. Mental toughness, physical toughness, emotional toughness. To me, Leo Chanel is rising and will help this team beyond just blocking field goals and PATs and Super Bowls.
He's come such a long way. I mean, look back at his rookie year. He was kind of a sub-package guy. He was the guy that you want in there against the run, or if you're going to blitz him off the edge. He can do just about everything now. He's looked really good in coverage through this camp. You mentioned that interception that he had. He was over the middle, deflected it, stuck with it in the air, and made a diving interception on the play. Did the whole thing himself. I mean, it was phenomenal. So I'm with you about Leo. How about Tyquan Thornton? So this is a player that really has been flashing the entire offseason. And, again, the question for him was, can he keep it going into camp with pads on? Because this is a player that had big-time pedigree coming out of school, Baylor, I believe. Ran a 4.28 at the Combine, among the fastest 40 times ever. So he has blazing speed. Was a second-round pick of the Patriots. Didn't really work out there, but that was a bad situation in New England. Well, now he's here, and really consistently every day he's made at least one play where it's like, man, he's really making a push. So Tyquan Thornton has to keep it going, has to impress during the preseason. But if you're looking at who could that 6th or 7th receiver be, Tyquan Thornton certainly has a great shot.
Let me tell you who the 5th receiver could be, and he's had an outstanding camp so far. He was great starting out, then he kind of slowed down in OTAs, but so far in this camp, and I don't want to get ahead of myself and don't get ahead of yourself, Chiefs Kingdom, but Jalen Royals has been really good in this camp. Basically what he's done, and that what he has done, we saw him with 2 red zone catches today for touchdowns, but his blitz recognition, the fact that he's absorbing everything. I asked Pat about him, and Pat's working with him. But he wants to learn. There's some instinct with Jalen Royals. There's toughness with Jalen Royals. He kept fighting through this practice today. And if you get a hot blitz read guy that understands where to go when Pat's getting blitzed, then it becomes a big deal. So far, Jalen Royals, there's enough encouragement there to be excited.
Yeah, I mentioned on our live stream a little bit ago that Steve Smith was here, the former superstar receiver for the Panthers. And when he was here, I was chatting with him about the receiver crew. He didn't want to talk about anybody else. He wanted to talk about Jalen Royals. And if you have Steve Smith's attention, like Steve Smith isn't messing around. You know, he's Mr. Ice Up. He doesn't want to talk about 40 times and all that. He wants to talk about your toughness, your physicality, your ability to break tackles and make tough catches. And that's Jalen Royals, at least so far. So we'll see if he can keep that going.
Just don't bet your mortgage in their fantasy football draft of picking Royals #1, okay?
Yeah.
Let's just you've been a Chiefs fan long enough to know don't take any Chiefs receivers in your fantasy draft right away because it could be somebody different every week. Let's do one more. You got one, I got one.
He's part of a crew, right? So he'll contribute hopefully to this crew.
And he may pop a 120 some week.
He might. Hopefully. Yep. My last one, Robert Tonyan. Now, Robert Tonyan is a familiar name for people that have been watching football a while. He was pretty productive for the Packers a handful of years ago. He had 3 years in a row with the Packers where he was averaging 300, 400, 500 yards per season. So this is a player that's been around a little bit and contributed to a pretty good offense. Injuries and things just didn't work out toward the end of his tenure in Green Bay. He kind of bounced around a little bit. But he was solid during the offseason training program, and it's kind of like Robert Tonyan might have a shot. And really, he's been one of my stars of this camp so far, just making big physical catches, particularly in the red zone. You can tell he's been around a while, and this guy caught passes from Aaron Rodgers, so he knows what he's doing. So Robert Tonyan, I think, has a great shot to make this team. Once again, got to keep it going, but certainly be watching Robert Tonyan during the preseason.
Not only make this team, to help this team. And, Matt, he's been consistent.
Yeah.
It's every day he's doing something. It's not a flash. And today he fought through all this. Again, he's a pro, former Indiana State quarterback. Mine would be Charles Omenihu. Charles Omenihu has had a really good start to this camp. He was good today. And the fact that not only his length, his awareness and intensity is good. If he stays healthy, and we've said this all throughout the spring and summer, but he's had a good start to this camp. If he stays healthy, to put him with Chris Jones and the rest of the guys and Holthus, you could have a better defensive front than anybody in the NFL thinks the Chiefs have.
There is no doubt that Charles has played a big role in getting us to Super Bowls each of the last 2 years, especially 2 years ago.
Yep.
I mean, when he came back, he was awesome with like 6 or 7 sacks in only a handful of games. Of course, tore his ACL in the AFC Championship game against the Ravens. But it's easy to forget that Charles, during his time with the Chiefs, has never had an opportunity to play in Week 1. He was suspended the first 6 games of the year a couple years ago and was recovering from the injury last year. So now, finally, he can come into training camp and get ready for the season and hopefully help this team in Week 1. And so far, he's definitely taken advantage of that.
Just know this is by design. The first push. This is where your veterans come into play. I told you Kelsey's trying to get his breath. Pat's, they might have IVs going in these guys, but the veterans become key here. Chris Jones, guys that have been around, guys that have won Super Bowls, even the 22 class, which is 9-1 individually in their career. This is where then the conversation with the young guys, keep driving, keep pushing, because there's another push coming. Coach will back off a bit tomorrow. There's an off day the next day. Then the next big push comes. Hang in there. But your veterans become as key as your coaches right now.
And I'll tell you what, right before we started doing this, practice has been over for a while. I saw Chris Jones over there on the sled. So Chris Jones, after a day like this, where it was a 2.5-hour practice, brutally hot, 3rd day in a row in pads, Chris was like, I need a little bit more work. And if you are any player on this team, any young player, any veteran player, whatever, you see Chris Jones, who's going to the Hall of Fame one day, after a tough practice like this, and you're huffing and puffing, and he's doing the sled, it's like, you better be working too. So I'm with you 100%. Coach Reed can only do so much. It comes from the players as well, and the tone that they set, the culture they create, and the example they set. And when you have guys like Chris Jones doing the sled after practice, fires me up.
If you're Omar Norman Lott or Ashton Gelati and you see that, you're going, okay, where's the sled?
Yep.
So know this, the first push, tough, but that's the way Andy Reid does things. Big shout out to the folks at Mosaic. They are our official training camp partners of the Kansas City Chiefs. They're our official healthcare provider of the Kansas City Chiefs. They're part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network and the 4-state region, Southeast Nebraska, Northeast Kansas, Southwest Iowa, and Northwest Missouri, all benefit from the awesome people at Mosaic. For Matt McMullen, yeah, we're headed to the cold tub ourselves. Mitch
Yes.
Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. We're going to give you live streams, more DTK. Just hang with us. We'll try to bring you to camp every day that we're here, no matter the weather.